Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Whether you're listening during your commute, while working out, or just relaxing at home, we appreciate you. Every download, every listen, and every subscription means a lot. Up next, the 12 Kyle podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy 12 Kyle. Man, check this out. On this episode, what I want to talk about is turning 40. Now, I know just by the numbers of this audience that there are quite a few of you who listen and watch on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Are over the age of 40. And there are a lot of you that will be turning 40 pretty soon. I saw this meme the other day and I had to bring it to the podcast because I thought it was downright hilarious and very much so true. At the time of this recording, my homegirl, shout out to the homie, Britt from the podcast. I can talk about this all day. You've heard her and seen her on here several times, and we're going to be doing a few more episodes coming forward. But Britt, as of today is her 39th birthday. I don't think she minds me telling you how old she is. But we were talking the other day, and she was already planning her 40th. And that same day, I saw this meme, and it just made me laugh. There are certain things that happen to us as we get older. It's very interesting because there's a younger generation that tends to call us old heads or whatever. The thing that I'll say about that, if you call me an old head, you call me an OG, whatever you want to call me. The only thing I can say is you will be lucky to get to my age. Now, full disclosure, I'm over 40. I am, at the time of this recording, 51, and I'll be turning 52 soon. So I can identify with a lot of things on this list. But the thing I will say about, turning 40, and I said this to Britt, you embrace it. You have to embrace it because here's the thing. There are quite a few people who would love to have turned 40. Particularly if you're in good health, good state of mind, you got a couple of dollars in your pocket, listen, and you're 40, you 40 or older, you should be happy because it doesn't necessarily have to go like that for you or anybody else for that matter. Far too often we're seeing a lot of people check out of here and some of them aren't reaching 40. So I think it goes without saying that you're truly blessed if you can reach it to that level and that age. With that being said, let me get into the meme because, again, it was funny. And it says, things that you say after 40. I'll read a couple, then we'll take a commercial break, and then we'll come back and read a few more. And these are in no particular order. Number one. Where the hell is my phone? Quite a few people say that after 40. And it's because after 40, you're probably prone to putting your phone down. And you're probably prone to walking around without your phone. That doesn't happen to a 25-year-old. A 25-year-old, they know where their phone is because 9 times out of 10 it's still in their hands. Or it's in their pocket. Or it's right beside them, or it's in the bathroom, or it's in the shower. Like, these young people can't park with their phones. And I get it to some degree. We didn't grow up in that era, so our need for the phone, some of us can give it, we can take it or leave it, give or take. But it's always comical to hear people look for their phone saying, like, where the hell is my phone? And I remember one of the homies, he wasn't 40. We were actually younger than 40. We probably closer to 35. We were hanging out and we were about to go party, and we went into a bank that day, Bank of America, never forget. So we go in the bank, and he's going in there. He went in the bank to make a transaction or do something, and he had to take out some money. So I don't know why he didn't go to the ATM, but he went inside the bank. So we go in the bank. We leave the bank. We get halfway down the street, and he realizes that he left his phone in the bank. So he had to turn around, and luckily his phone was still there when we got back. But, it's always, and that's a running joke for us. But yeah, things you say after 40, one of the things that you'll say is, where the hell is my phone? Because you just may put the phone down and really not remember what you did with it. That is very, very possible. Number 2, how did I get this bruise? That one is quite common. And I'll be the first to admit, I've said that before, because you just don't know. Like for me, growing up, as many of you know, maybe you don't know, I played football. I played Little League football, high school football, all the way through college at South Carolina State University. As you see my helmet here. And so I'm used to bumps and bruises, right? That's not a problem. But the thing is, when you play football, you know where those bumps and bruises came from. You got hit, or you remember you fell down and you got tackled and scraped your arm or something like that, and the skin got peeled off your elbow. You remember that. But at 40 or older, sometimes, man, you can knock your arm up against the wall and not even know that you did. And it's not until you get in the shower that you realize that you cut your skin, or, you're doing something later and you just hit it and it stings. And it's weird because I remember maybe about a month or so ago, I got in the shower and I noticed right here across my chest, was a nice little scratch mark. And I'm like, what the hell? Where'd that come from? And it wasn't it came from somebody else. And it definitely didn't come from my wife. And I'm like, okay, well, and I know I didn't scratch myself. So I literally don't know how it got there. And I didn't realize it until I got in the shower and it started stinging. And then I got out of the shower and I looked at it, and it was a nice long scratch across my chest. I'm like, yo, how did that happen? It couldn't have happened from me just putting on my shirt. But bruises, bumps, they come after 40. And if you're fortunate enough to reach 40, you're going to have those. You're definitely going to have those. Number 3, that isn't my password either. What the hell? Listen, forgetting your password is something that everybody over 40 does, myself included. I'm at the point now, man, where, and I'm not ashamed to say it, passwords, I got to write them down. And you're not supposed to write down your passwords for security purposes, but I have to at this point because you just never know. Sometimes I will be trying to log into work with my work password, but I'm thinking about my, my personal computer password, so it's you don't want to do it, but you have to, because your memory just isn't as sharp. And it's really not cyber safe to use the same password, for every account that you have. Every account can't be Chicken Wings 123. They can't be. That was a password at one point. But Chicken Wings 123. No, that's just not. It's not gonna do it. And so I'm older now, so I know better than to have a password that says Chicken Wings 123. It's Chicken Wings 12 now. But no, you and honestly, like for me, because I have somewhat of a security issue when I have to log in. So I'm always conscious about logging in for work because I don't want there to be a security breach. And so like, it's always like, you ever type in your password and then it's the wrong one? You're like, oh, because you only got like maybe 2 or 3 more chances at it. And so I'm like, no, man, so I'm at the point now where whether or not it's a password for my bank account or my password for a bill or something like that, or gym membership, whatever the case may be, I write them down. And when I change them, I refresh them. And my work passwords, I write those. Now, I'm really not supposed to write the work passwords down, but I do, and I hope nobody from work is watching. But they don't know. They don't know I have a podcast. Shh, don't tell them. But yeah, that's one. When you forget that password, and that's something that happens after 40. Number 4. How do they expect you to read this small print? Listen, your eyes are going to get bad. It's a natural part of life. If you've been on the earth at least 40 years, there's going to come a point in time where you're probably going to need glasses. I'll never forget, there was we had a situation one day where our daughter Skylar, she was sick. She had a cold, and so my wife said, "Hey, I need you to give Skylar some cough medicine." I'm like, "Okay," and she was like, "Well, make sure you read the labels for the dosage." I'm like, "Okay." So they give you the little cup or whatever. So I grabbed the cup and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I'm looking, and then I'm realizing like I can't see any of these words. So I do this right here. I stick it back away from my eyes, and that's not even better. So then I bring it in close, and that's not even better either. And I didn't know the dosage. And then I looked really, really hard, and I saw it said, I think like 10 ounces or something like that. But my wife saw that. She said, "You need to go get your eyes checked." And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I probably do, staring at these computers all day and phones and stuff. And, I haven't gone yet. But seriously, it's something that I'm going to do because I know, and to be honest, I don't even know if I will be the glasses type of guy. I may be contact lens guy. And here's the thing, like, I think glasses look good on everybody else but me. I look good, very good, but I don't think glasses look fly on me. But I haven't worn glasses. Now shades, I think shades look dope, and shades definitely look dope on me, modestly speaking. but nah. At some point, I'm gonna need glasses. And that point probably sooner than later. Speaking of, number 5, things you say after 40. Where did I put my glasses? I've actually seen people say that and their glasses be on the top of their head. Picture that. You're looking for your glasses and they're on the top of your head. Like I said, it happens. It happens. And, as we get older, I think, I don't know that we necessarily forget things. I think we just have, at least for me, I think like I have so much going on in my head sometimes, like I will literally forget things, not anything important, but I can't tell you why I know how much Michael Jordan averaged in 1987 in the NBA season, but I can't tell you what I ate for lunch yesterday because I can't remember. But Jordan's scoring feats are etched in my brain. Yesterday's lunch, not so much. Number 6, and again, these are no particular order, things that you say after 40. I don't care if it doesn't look fashionable. It's comfortable. hell no. Listen, I had a situation that kind of reminded me of that particular saying just the other day, 2 days ago. I was in the grocery store and got my groceries and I'm standing there waiting in line. I'm behind this guy and, you know, I got my music playing in my ears, so I'm not really paying him any attention or anything else. And I just happened to look down at his shoes. And he had on like some, I think they were Nike. I think they were Nike. And he had them laced up and like tight to the top. I mean, so tight that like he probably cut off circulation to the rest of his body. And I was looking down and I think he kind of saw me looking at his shoes or whatever like that. And I kind of looked away and I thought to myself, you know what? In his mind, those shoes are probably comfortable, but they didn't look fashionable at all. And I mean, I had on a pair of Jordans, clean Jordans, so brand new Jordans. And that's not the stunt, but I mean, just I'm very particular about sneakers. So I look at the guy, and then I look at the rest of his, as the kids say, drip. And I noticed that like he had his belt, you know, buckled and everything, and he had his shirt tucked in his pants, and his jeans were like, you know, pressed. Like he looked very comfortable. Like he looked like he said, you know what? I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go to Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Shout out to King Germ from the Pod and Saved Our Marriage podcast. I'm going to go be comfortable and I don't care how this looks. Because it didn't really look cool. I mean, from the tight belt to the iron jeans to the t-shirt, the shirt tucked in his pants to the strung up and, you know, tight sneakers. Didn't look comfortable at all. But, you know, maybe he was comfortable, but he wasn't fashionable. I think when you get to be 40 or older, there are some that will say, I don't care if it looks fashionable, it's comfortable. Honestly, I don't ever want to get to that point. I don't ever want to be the guy with the tied up shoes and everything. I don't want to dress like I'm 25, but I don't want to dress like I'm 55 or 65 either. And no, that's not to say like 10 years from now that I'll be, you know, dressing with jeans and falling off my ass. Cause no, I don't do that now. But, you know, I always want to look cool as far as my drip is concerned. And I probably shouldn't say drip anymore because my kids will kill me. But yeah, that's something that you say, a lot of people say at the age of 40 and older. I don't care if it looks fashionable, it's comfortable. And I think when you start talking like that, that's when you're going down the wrong path. I'll tell you what, let's take a quick commercial break. And on the other side, I'll give you the other things that people say after the age of 40. Sit tight. We'll be back in just a second. Are you feeling nostalgic for the golden eras of rap and soul music? If so, tune in to the Rap Soul Podcast. We are your weekly journey through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, spotlighting the music and the hidden gems that shaped the soundtrack of our lives. From the powerful beats to the soulful melodies, we bring you the best of the past with fresh insights and stories. Rediscover the music that defined a generation. Subscribe to the Rap Soul Podcast and enjoy the vibes. And just like that, we are back. Thanks again for checking out the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy 12 Kyle, and this is the episode, Things That You Say After 40. Before the break, I gave you 6. I'm going to give you 6 more before we get out of here. Number 7. Who the heck is calling at 9:30 p.m.? That's definitely something that somebody over 40 would say, because if you're over 40, you probably remember house phones. You may even still have a house phone. Most people that I know now don't have house phones. So that would bother somebody, you calling somebody after 9:30 on a house phone, because here's the thing, kids, excuse me. Here's the thing. Back when we had house phones, you wanted to stop calling people after a certain time. And the reason being is that people would think that if the phone rang after 10 p.m., that it probably was an emergency. And so you didn't want to scare people when their phone rang at 10:30, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever time you call them, because you don't want people to think that something's wrong. Because the first thing that you think is, if somebody's calling you that late, it's bad news. So yeah, somebody over 40 might be a little offended if you call them after 9:30. Maybe not so much now, because like I said, if you're over 40, you probably, if you're at 40, you're probably right in that range where you had a house phone, but you pretty much grew up with the internet and cell phones and stuff like that. But like if you're my age at 51, 50 or 55 or 60, yeah, you pretty much, your phone time, your time to get in contact with me pretty much stops like at a certain time. Maybe 9 o'clock might be pushing it for some people. But yeah, that's something that people say after 40. Who's calling me at 9:30 p.m.? Number 8. Does anyone say please and thank you anymore? Listen, manners, people don't have manners anymore. I mean, like you used to see people would be very courteous and hold doors open for you and stuff like, man, now this is a different generation, it's a different time. And that's unfortunate. I was raised like that. You say please, you say thank you. I was raised to say ma'am and sir. Which ironically, I wasn't raised to say ma'am and sir to my parents, but to other elders. Weird how that works. And I still do it subconsciously sometimes. If I'm talking to someone and they're clearly older than me, I'll say ma'am or sir. Thank you, sir. Whatever like that. I don't do it as much as I did when I was younger because, now, because you don't want to offend people and you don't want people to think like you don't want them to make them feel like they're old, even when they really are old. But yeah, please and thank you will take you a long way. Trust me when I tell you that. Say please, say thank you, smile. It'll take you a long way. Number 9. Geez, how do you throw your body out of whack just by sleeping wrong? Throwing your body out of whack just by sleeping wrong is definitely something that happens over 40. And it's definitely something that somebody would say over 40. Myself included, I wondered how I could go to sleep and wake up and feel like I pitched a no-hitter the night before, not having played a lick of baseball since I was 14 years old. I don't know, like you wake up and you can be sore. And I still haven't understood that phenomenon as to waking up being sore and just your body's just hurting. And I remember one night, this is probably about a year or so ago, like I woke up and my legs were hurt. But now keep in mind, the day before I didn't do anything. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do my walk. I didn't go to the gym or anything. And I woke up and my legs were hurting like I've been playing kickball for like 6 hours. So I don't know. I mean, but that's something we say because that's something that we experience. Trust me. And when you get to be 40 or older, you will do the same damn thing. Number 10, this scale can't be right. Listen, this is very common. It's a very common saying for people 40 and older. Why? Because the scale always lies. You know, because you ate a salad for lunch and you think that everything was cool. But that night, you had a steak and you had some wine and you had, you know, some hors d'oeuvres and some appetizers and a little bit of everything. And you realize that while you thought that you lost 2 pounds, you actually gained 4. The scale don't lie. The scale has never lied. But I will say this much. I will give people, particularly people in my generation, my age group, props for, you know, staying on top of that, maintaining, or at least trying to maintain your weight. Because it can be a struggle. It can be a struggle for some. It's something that, you know, if you want to be around for a long time, you definitely need to pay attention to it. Because here's the thing, we still eat like we've eaten all of our lives, but at 40, you're probably less active than you were at 20. I know I was. I mean, at 20, I was running up and down the football field for 3 hours. 40, not so much. 51, definitely not. I mean, I still work out and everything, but it's not the same. You know, there's nothing that I can do that can duplicate that stretch of 3 hours of running up and down a football field. I will never do that again. I'd like to, but, you know, well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't even say that because I don't want to. But yeah, things that you say after 40, the scale can't be right. Trust me. A lot of you, most of you, almost all of you have said it. Number 11. What the hell is wrong with people nowadays? I've said that because, like, you know how people should be. And I say this all the time, like, this world is crazy, but it don't have to be crazy. We live in a time where it's bizarro world, but it doesn't have to be bizarro world. And sometimes I literally log on to Twitter, Instagram, well, mostly Twitter, and I can't believe some of the stuff that I see. Instagram as well with the videos and stuff, and it's like, hey man, y'all, you wanted to put this out? You wanted to do this TikTok video? Like, you do understand that there are other people that's going to watch this, right? Or you're doing it for the attention? Oh, okay. Yeah, people aren't the same. I mean, I think some folks are just crazy, and some folks are just starving for attention. And that's a crazy mix because you don't want what comes with being crazy. You don't want what comes with wanting the attention. But yeah, I've said that quite a few times. What the hell is wrong with people nowadays? As opposed to, you know, back in the day, people were a little bit different. We moved a little bit different. We had less. And now it seems like we have more and we don't know how to maintain. But that's another story for a whole nother day. And last but not least, why did I come into this room? Man, I find that I do that one a lot. I probably do it more than I'm willing to admit. Especially at crib because I'm home and I work from home. So it's like, you know, I could be working and I leave my room where I'm working and I go in the kitchen. And when I'm in the kitchen, it's like, wait a minute, what did I come here for? And it doesn't, I mean, I'm back and forth, you know, sometimes with work between here and Houston, between Atlanta and Houston, excuse me. And same thing, my spot in Houston, I will go into a room and I'm like, why did I come in here? Oh, came in here to get my shoes. Let me get my shoes. And it's like, I know I'm not going crazy, but like, I could not have forgotten what I did between getting up and walking out of a room. But you'd be surprised. I think that probably happens a lot. And I don't know necessarily if it's forgetfulness, but again, with me, because I got a lot going on when I'm working, and I probably got, a couple of conversations going in group chats, and I got, texting family and friends and stuff like that. So it's a lot of stuff going on in this phone. It's a lot of stuff going on in my head. It's a lot of stuff going on in this computer. Yeah, you can get up and say, well, wait a minute. Why did I come in the bathroom? Oh, I had to use the bathroom. It happens. In conclusion, these are just some things that you say when you turn 40 or older. Like I said, my demographic for this particular podcast, the majority of the people who listen and watch this podcast are, 35 and up. And so even if you're not 40, you got something to look forward to, because almost all of you will go through some of these things. The thing that I can say as a veteran is just be patient with yourself. Give yourself some grace. It's not the end of the world. But also, if you think that things aren't working right cognitively, seriously, ask for help. Ask for help. But most of us, we don't have anything cognitively wrong with us. We're just getting a little older, getting a little wiser, and things just ain't what they used to be because we got so many distractions. But it's okay. Understand that it's okay, and you're okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. This has been another edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you would do me a favor, subscribe. You can find the podcast wherever you're listening to it right now, but you can find it on all streaming platforms. Subscribe to the podcast. Remember, the podcast drops every Thursday and every Sunday at midnight. If you're on YouTube, again, thank you for watching. Just go to youtube.com/12 Kyle podcast. We're there. Subscribe, hit the notification button so that you can get notifications when the new episodes drop. You can also follow me on social media at 12 Kyle, at 12 Kyle podcast across the board: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, you name it. That's where we are. We're everywhere. And we also have a Reddit page. So if you would like to continue this conversation and get some jokes off, go over to Reddit at 12 Kyle podcast. You can holler at us there. If you're into merch, buy some merch. You can contribute to the show financially by doing that. Just go to the podcast, and then when you look at the description link, there is a link that says merch. Click that link, and on there you can buy 12 Kyle podcast t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, you name it. We got it for the low price. Or you can send us money on Cash App, $TWELVEKYLE. Again, that's going to do it for me. I am your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5 G's.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the 12 Kyle podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and share this podcast with a friend who needs the 12 Kyle podcast in their life. Every listen, every download, and every share helps us grow. Thanks for being a part of the 12 Kyle podcast community. We appreciate your support. We will catch you next time. 5,000.